If you're coming to Barcelona, you might be wondering if the Montjuïc Castle is worth it and if it should be on your list. Well, I can't answer that question for you, but what I can do is take you along with me as I go explore the Montjuïc Castle, show you everything that you can see, the beautiful views, what the new museum is like, and most importantly, if you want to come, how to get there. So let's go. Montjuïc Castle sits high on the Montjuïc Hill, overlooking both Barcelona and its harbor. I always tell people it's not really a castle in the way that you would normally picture one. It's more of a glorified fort, but it offers some of the best panoramic views of the city and the sea. But unlike most of the other top attractions that give you views into the city from the surrounding hills, for Montjuïc you get views into the city from the Mediterranean. Today it's a cultural space and museum hosting exhibits and events, but for most visitors the real draw is the history and the views from all around. Built in the 17th century, Montjuïc Castle has witnessed some of the most turbulent chapters in Barcelona's history. Built as a strategic military stronghold, it's been used as a defensive fort, a symbol of control over the city, and even as a prison during times of conflict. During the War of Spanish Succession in the early 1700s, it played a major role in the siege of Barcelona. A century later, it saw action again during the Peninsular War against Napoleon's troops. And in the 20th century, the castle became a site of political repression during the Spanish Civil War when it was used to imprison and execute political dissidents. Its presence is a reminder of the city's struggles for freedom and resilience. Visiting today isn't just about the views, it's about connecting with a site that has shaped Barcelona's story. Montjuïc Castle is open every day of the week with general admission priced at 12 euros. If you'd like to go deeper, guided tours are available for just 4 euros and run in English, Spanish, and Catalan. But there are also all kinds of discounts and even free admission options that you can check out before visiting. Plus, there's one special price that combines getting there with free entry, and I'll explain that later in the video. It's actually been a long time since I've been up here, and there is so much more. I feel like a few years ago, the main draw was just coming for the views. But now the castle offers so much more to see and more context to the history of the site. Apart from exploring the grounds, there's also the Visitors Center that takes you through a journey of the site's history, temporary exhibits, and a terrace that offers those spectacular 360-degree views of Barcelona. You'll already get an idea for the views when you first enter and walk along the walls of the fortress, especially the views of the industrial port of Barcelona that aren't seen from anywhere else. And one of the things that I always think is really interesting with Barcelona is how the industrial port and the cruise port are just kind of hidden behind Montjuïc. If you're coming in from the airport, you always come by, you see that. You also see the cemetery, which is just in the back over here, but not everybody gets to see that. And it's really purposely made like that so that it's all kind of hidden right behind that mountain. You've got a completely different view when you're in the center of the city. The first space you'll find is the patio, which is the big open area right at the center that was originally used for the training of the troops. And if you do need a place to sit down, cool out, and have a drink, they do have a bar right in the patio right here, and I can tell you that basically every single person was eating an ice cream. From the main patio, you'll find the Visitors Center, which is split into 4 different sections. It includes an overview of the Montjuïc Hill, the construction of the fort and the castle, the strategic use of the fort for both defense and repression, and finally the most recent use in the 19th and 20th century as a prison. And one of the things that I really like about the exhibit is that while they give you a lot of different replicas of what the fortress looks like and a lot of different pictures, there is a video that shows the full evolution from that original lighthouse to the current fortress that it is today. And I always love those. It gives you a really good idea of what it was. Now the exhibit that they have does a good job really just going over the entirety of the history of the castle from its real construction in that 17th century and the independence wars then, even into the Battle of Spanish Succession, the war with Napoleon, attacks from the Spanish government into Barcelona at the end of that 19th century, and even into the beginning of the 20th century and that Civil War. It really is a much darker history of Barcelona, some things that maybe you don't talk about as much when you're getting through that Gothic quarter or in those modernist periods, but it is something that's really interesting and something that's definitely worth checking out while you're here. And apart from the main museum that they also have temporal exhibits like the one they have right now, which is a combination of Football Club Barcelona and the Estadi Olímpic. Now remember that Estadio Olímpic was where Barcelona had been playing the last couple years, and this temporal exhibit gives a little bit of an idea of what the stadium was like in the years during the Civil War. It was actually a place that really held a lot of different people who were trying to escape from the war all around the world, and they came over to Montjuïc. It was really interesting because Barcelona actually wanted to hold a popular Olympics in 1936, but because that Civil War broke out just 2 days earlier, they actually never held those Olympics, which were really just a boycott from the Hitler Olympics in 1936.
And after some context, it's time to head up to the terrace and grab those views of Barcelona.
And even if the museum isn't worth it to you, these do offer some of the best views in the city. You've got a 360-degree view from the very top, out to the port, out to the center, to the mountain, and even outside of Barcelona. You can see everything in the city. So just remember that the origins of this entire fortress are the watchtower that were up here from as early as that 11th century. Now what you can see behind me is not the original. It would have been built over and over again, but it is that idea of what was originally here, and it's that point that you can see from all over the city that everybody always asks, hey, what is that up there? That's the castle, originally that watchtower, but what it would have been, looking out to see if the boats were coming in or if any enemies were coming or anything like that. Just remember that if you are coming in the summer, there is almost no shade, so make sure you bring a hat, some glasses. See a couple of people up here with some umbrellas, but it is hot.
After grabbing your pictures and taking in the sights from above, remember that the castle is more than just the patio and the terrace. There's plenty of space to roam around and explore. And while you might not have much in terms of markings, it's well worth walking around the grounds and taking it all in.
Now, while the actual museum section is pretty short, the castle is huge. So there are a bunch of different areas to walk around. It's not just in the general arms patio or even up to the terrace, but you can get out and you have all of this area to walk through all of the different walls, the bastions, and everything. Get some other views and really have the place entirely to yourself. Now, the castle is going to be a must for any Civil War interested people coming over to Barcelona. Originally, with the takeover of the Republic, this would have been a place where people on the nationalist side would have been killed. When the nationals came in and took over, this was changed to a memorial, and there's actually a shrine to those who had fallen for God and for Spain. Now, you can see behind me that that shrine is no longer over there. Now, this would have been a place that even during the Franco times was a place of memorial for that war, but it would have told a completely different story than what it tells today. Now, if you're going to want to get up to the castle, you're going to want to know how to get there. Fortunately, there are a bunch of different ways that'll get you right to that castle, but we're going to start with the easiest of them, and it is taking the 150 bus right from Plaza España, and it leaves you just a short walk from the door.
The 150 bus leaves from right outside the Plaza España, making it extremely easy to get to. If you already have a Metro Pass, the buses are included, so there's no need to buy any extra tickets. If you don't, you can purchase a one journey right on the bus. The ride up is a bit windy, but offers some views into Barcelona as you climb Montjuïc.
Now, if you take that 150 bus, one of the nice things is that both that green and the red line connect directly to Plaza España. That'll get you over to that bus. But if you want to take the funicular up the mountain, which is a little bit faster and connects right over not only to that teleferic or over to the bus again, you can get over on both the green and the purple lines at the parallel station. It goes right there and it cuts right up the mountain. And when you come out of the funicular, just to the right, you've got the teleferic to take you right up. You've also got a bus stop just over to the left that connects the 150 to this exact same spot. So you can either take the bus all the way up, you can take a combination of the things, but there's all sorts of different ways to get there.
While the bus and the funicular are included on the general city transportation cards, the cable car is not. But if you use the link I'll share with you in the description below to buy your ticket, you'll have free entrance to the castle. You can also use the QR code that's on the screen right now if you're watching on TV. This is the only place you'll find this offer, and you can't get the free access if you wait to buy the ticket at the cable car. So take advantage now.
Now, the bus does take you almost right up to that door of the castle, but if you want to go right to the door and have some of the best views, the best way is going to be the teleferic of Montjuïc. Now, it is the most expensive, but it is going to give you the best views. One of the things that I always tell people is I wouldn't take it just to ride it in Barcelona, but if you're going to get up to the castle, it is the most scenic way. And one of the nice things is that it does have connections, not only bus stops here, but also to the funicular, which is another great way to get up the mountain.
Now after you get on the main station down at the bottom, there are two places to get off. The second is where you're gonna get off for the castle. The first option to get off, you can get off, but don't do it. It's definitely not worth it, and it's so much more expensive to have to pay for another ticket to get back on. You can't get off and get back on and then take it on up. And there you are, right at the castle. Now getting down is the easy part. I mean, realistically, you can just walk it. And as I tell everybody, it's never as far as you really think, and you can get right into that city center. Or you can just do the reverse of what you did to get back up. But one of the things that you won't want to miss is one of the best viewpoints in Barcelona. So come with me and I'll show you what it's like. So if you come just down short of the castle, you get the lookout point of the Alcalde. This is the Mirador de Alcalde, and it is for me one of the best free viewpoints that you can get in all of Barcelona, from the W Hotel out to that Sagrada Familia, and really even into some of the hills from behind. It's one of my favorite places to take people up to when I'm doing one of more of the highlight tours of all of Barcelona. Getting up here, you can really get a feel for everything in the city, the expansion, and get some great pics. Now that you've seen the castle of Montjuïc and everything that it offers, you can make your decision as to whether or not you're going to come over here while you're in Barcelona. But in the meantime, watch this playlist next, where you can see all of the other places in Barcelona and find out if they're worth it for your itinerary on your next trip.